Hello and welcome. So, I loved chapter 5 and 6. For me, uh I I I really felt like they played like a how-to manual, and I really like the aspects of um I'm David Headley, and using an interpreting statistics, a practical text for the behavioral, social, and health sciences. So chapter 5 starts out with just kind of outlining, data-driven instruction, and it has that long rubric, but it really does a great job of outlining exactly what goes into it and kind of giving you the backbone for how it should look. Um, like a checklist of like an outline of how it should work, right? I really like that, so I included it in here. I'm not going to read through it, and I'm sure we're all familiar, but it's there if you need it. Uh, I really like this since I have been in this course and seen the benefits and done the readings and stuff. Um, not not so great with my my graphing, but taking those ideas and using them to create a data-driven environment. So I've taken the ideas that have come from my data-driven instruction course, and I've come up with a TEKS-based plan for our school, right? So what it does is it uh, uses it's all data based. So what it does is it takes TEKS from all the core content tested subjects, and what we do is we align our lessons up with specific TEKS, and then based on that we do the testing, assess the data, and see where we are. So with this framework, it really, reading chapter 5 and based on what I already knew and being able to incorporate that in, it hasn't been yet, but it will be even more beneficial. I feel like whenever I was reading chapter 5 and 6, it pointed out, hey, I'm doing these things great, right? But this is where the improvement really can be. And with it having the reason that I pulled all these and kind of stuck them in here was it's just a basic checklist. Boom, boom, boom. Go down the checklist. Am I hitting all these things, right? Have all these things. And I'm horrible with the organizing. I'm horrible with the graphs. I'm horrible with those things. But the on the ground work, doing the work, I'm great at. So I feel like it is extremely beneficial, uh, for lack of a better word, just a checklist. Hey, have I done this? I'm gonna go back and reassess, and improve on what I'm already doing, uh, and make it less rudimentary, if you will. The other key thing I really liked from chapter 5, and I did pull directly from the chapter on this one, uh, is the difference between interim informative. I feel like, and I kind of read it in there that that kids are over tested. We test them too much, but then where do you get the data to see if this is working or not? If we're not doing those interim tests to see, hey, this is where we've gotten so far. Let's have a test on it and see, are we learning, right? Are we learning? Are we picking up this? Do we need to do reteaches? That's the reason that we do the assessments in the first place, right? uh so I really like this breakdown. That's one of those things. I've been teaching for over 5 years now, and still sometimes formative, summative, interim, they all jumble up, and like, oh, especially with the I'm not really, it's not pertinent for this, but the with the ELL stuff, and it's like that those are those, there's so many different terms, and it's to have a clear-cut grasp. But I really like these definitions, and I really like what this chapter did, and just hitting off the frequently asked questions and the it outlined it real quick. What is the difference in the formative and the interim? And then it goes on to explain. And then I really liked there was a part towards it's like more towards the middle where it was talking about coming up with interim tests is like a monumental undertaking. I don't remember the exact verbiage, and I'm misquoting a little bit, but having done it now, so I do more the basic formative for for the week, and then we have like a big one in the middle, with the daily formatives going up, and I'm compiling all that data, and it's been really good to get that gauge, and of course not, I don't know how to put it, but not being like being a more confined environment where it's me working with each of the teachers, and not coming down like at a district level. It's given me more control, and it's also given the content teachers more control with their formative and their and their and and the interim assessments. I'm not saying this clearly. So we're running it like, so we pull the TEKS from Lead Forward, we attach that to a star question for that TEK that's taught the day, and that's the exit ticket. Then the 4 exit tickets compile to the week test, and then we take those and we do like, this is the interim would be this is the TEKS that we've covered so far, boom, test on that, right? That's the breakdown of how I'm doing it, and then, compile that data. So to kind of give a an accurate gauge, is this Lead Forward based system, pulling the TEKS from Lead Forward in that star based thing, eventually my goal is to show that it it worked, and it's increasing the overall star testing for this. I won't know that until at the end of December or maybe early January. But where I am in the process now is I don't know. I was tying that into that creating the interim test might be a monumental undertaking, and it really hasn't been. Going in the process of mixing with the core content teachers, and going back and forth with them, and giving the set parameters of what we want, and I'll do it, I'll do it if you want me to do it, but giving that freedom, because there was another part in that chapter where it said is it okay to hold off on an interim or not to test? Well, I mean, you can only test on what you've taught, right? So or it's not, it's not showing is the teaching effective or is the method effective. So I really like that too, that tie-in. I really like the chapter all the way through. It just had so many it was a very practical application of data, and then it gave that outline and that backbone for are you hitting all these things, right? So great chapter. I rave about it. At first, whenever that it was suggested that we buy the book, I was like, I don't know, but now I feel like I gotta buy the book. I feel like that was true, because both these chapters are great. So then anyway, going into chapter 6, leading PD for adults, another one of those aha. Of course, it would have been great if I had read this, a month or a little bit but by like 5 weeks ago now, right? So leading PD for adults, a lot of aha moments in here where it's like I did that wrong, I did that wrong, and I did that right, right? There was that one part, it was pretty early on in chapter 6 where they say, they said, it was, what was the exact thing? We all can remember that one PD where there's been a great speaker, and in a group environment, not so much in this format. I do, I have a genuine vulnerability, and I'm very engaging, and that I do very well. But then there are so many things I don't do well, right? I'm I'm uh, I'm very passionate about teaching, or teaching whatever, whatever the information is, especially if I think it's good information. I lay down the value of it, and I make sure that everybody buys in to what, to what I'm trying to sell, right? Um, but there were some key things when I was reading this chapter that I don't do well, and that I wasn't even aware of, that I wasn't doing well, right? And so it's a big aha. Yeah, shoulda. If I coulda, woulda, shoulda. So the qualities of an effective PD are in fact remarkably straightforward. Effective PD responds to a real need revealed by data. And like I said, so the one I did for another project was on strong voice. So we had behavioral issues. I did I sent out surveys, and the just star stuff is done to death. So I didn't want to do that for my PD whenever I got to address the entire school. So I went with that one, and the data did show that we had a huge issue with that. So bam, I got that right. Effective PD gives participants time to practice the skills they need to succeed. I did that. I really I did it for a little bit, and then I cut off the camera while I was doing it, because I didn't feel like people felt comfortable. And I but I feel like I did nail those two, right? That was the point I was trying to make. I wasn't trying to I loved this. Loved 5 frequent errors associated with adult PD. Teaching by talking. Definitely did that. PowerPoint up on the board, da 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 da. I tried to stop and do inclusion, but I didn't do the see it, name it. And that is another thing that I just, when I read that, and I was like, treating adults primarily as I do, we do, you do, not specifically targeting leaders, struggling to structure large group sharing, poorly planning traditions, and time management. Horrible, horrible at that. So I really like this. It's simple, straightforward, and like I said, the chapter 5 and chapter 6, great on practical application, how to do, lie it out. These are the things you might run into. These are the problems, and I love that about these chapters. Like I said, wasn't thrilled when the posting of the book and everything didn't happen, but now I got to go buy the book. But I'm hoping I can find it cheap online. So I've been pretty lucky with that. All right, so leading PD for adults, core ideas. Your PD is only as powerful as what you practice. Got to practice it, right? I like I said, that was one of those ones. I hit it, but I didn't allocate the amount of time that I like to. And I wasn't, I was, I didn't outline it what exactly and how exactly I wanted them to practice. So kind of a little bit iffy on that one. I'd say like a 70%, 80% maybe. Uh, I tried to model it. If you name what you see it more clearly. Try to do that. I'd say again at like a 70-80%. Make the complicated simple and the simple powerful. I did well on this, so I like that. I like the easy layout of it. I Okay, well that's all I have. I don't know exactly how long I've been going on, but I really both these chapters were super easy reads, and there's just great practical applications for them. Uh, it outlines what how it should look and what you may be doing wrong. And I think that um, you just really, I felt myself so many times when I was reading these two chapters, short chapters, 8 pages and like 10 pages. And about half of that is that rubric on the chapter 5. But some great chapters. I think this, and then there was that book that I read for uh for the anyway, I got the chapter that was like chapter 5. It was incorporating art in the lesson, and it's been these have been like, I really like these and that. Those are like 3 of my things. Is like that was the incorporating art into, and I feel like these chapters have been just as beneficial. Uh, in making me cringe, because like, oh, I'm not doing that, and it's laid out that I should be. And had I read this before, I would have been cognizant of that and try to hit it a little bit better. um and just a great, just both the chapters were great. A lot of room for improvement in both. And I I feel like I said, just extremely practical application on both of these. Um, Thank you so much for sitting through this, and have a wonderful day.